Hello there, I'm Shaun McLaren, and Kaladesh is out for pre-releases on Magic Online, so it's time to test for the Pro Tour and do a draft. Let's see what we got. Alright, Gonti, Essence, and Extraction both seem very good, and the rest of the pack doesn't really have anything of the quality or authority, so we are going to respect them and choose between Gonti and Essence Extraction. Gonti's pretty amazing. Death Touch 2/3. You can still play the card even if Gonti dies. Essence Extraction is just probably the more solid pick since it's removal, life gain. I think probably the pick is Essence Extraction. It's unfortunate because we're likely to put the person to our left in black. You know what, let's take Gonti though, just to try it out, since we're here to test. A bunch of good black cards. And Furious Reprisal and Longfin Skywell are also very good. And there's also a couple good white cards. So we have our choice of whatever we want. Furious Reprisal looks amazing, but kind of underperforms. There's lots of big creatures. Longfin Skywell is just great. Bash his face. And then we have decent removal in Die Young and Fretwork Colony, which is actually pretty good. If you get it out on turn 2, it can grow pretty big. And then there's also Thriving Rats, which is just solid. If you get a couple Thriving Rats, it's a good 2-drop, 2/3 if you attack with it. I think I'm going to go with the Fretwork Colony. Die Young might be correct here also just because it's removal, but again we're going to pick the less common card, the uncommon card, just to try it out. Fretwork Colony is actually probably just the pick. It's pretty good. It gets very large. Alright, here we have a Renegade Freighter and a Foundry Screecher, which is also pretty decent and in our colors, but Renegade Freighter is the best card in the pack and an artifact, so it's going to make our deck no matter what. Here, Pillar Bug is the only black card. Thriving Grubs I like for like a black-red artifact aggro deck. Maybe just take the Pillar Bug since it's on color and there's not really anything, like, it's basically as good as everything else. Start Your Engines can actually be fantastic. Although, like, we have a Renegade Freighter for it, which is great. It's better in a white-red deck though. I think we'll just play it safe here and take the Pillar Bug. Okay, Subtle Strike is great. There's also Make Obsolete, which is basically a less subtle strike on all your creatures' opponents, but this is just great. Puts a +1/+1 counter, gives -1/-1, just amazing. Amazing combat trick, decent removal, and is relevant with +1/+1 counters. So yeah, we're just gonna take it. Skyskiff, Malphus Squad if we want to not branch out into another color, and then Sky Swirl Harrier, Thriving Grubs, or Malfunction if we want to. There's not really any reason to branch out, I would say, yet. Malphus Squad is surprisingly good for looking the way it does. Usually this card is bad and limited, but Malphus Squad isn't, I would say. So I think we're going to take it over Sky Skiff. Usually this card is bad. Alright, Foundry Screecher is probably the pick. There's also Prophetic Prism, which is great. Although we do not need fixing. And it doesn't really help our deck yet in any significant way, so I think we'll just take the Foundry Screecher, which looks to be good in our deck. Continue taking black cards. Okay, Gear Seeker Serpent is going to be the pick here. It's going to serve us well and serp us well if we end up in blue-black. There's also a P-Foul, which is not that foul. Gear Serpent is gonna have a higher ceiling here, though, for being amazing. Alright, Wayward Giant is probably the best card in the pack. Ambitious Aetherborn is also surprisingly good. Fabricate is just a solid mechanic that gives you options and artifacts, which are highly relevant. I think we'll just take the Aetherborn. I mean, Wayward Giant is also good, but it's not that good. Okay. Thriving Rats, sure. There's also the Ibex. Both of these are good. I like the Thrivers. We're not really an energy deck, but just a solid 2-drop. There's also Cogworker's Puzzle Knot, but we don't really need the artifacts, and also we're not in white. Here, Disappearing Act is okay if we end up in blue. There's also the Skygate, which is fine as well. Like, works with Gear Seeker Serpent. I think we'll just take the Disappearing Act. The Skygate isn't all that necessary. Okay, here. Take that. Take that. Take that. Alright, so we're still basically mono black with one blue card. Alright, well, there's Tidy Conclusion, which is great removal, and it's Welding Sparks is better than it, probably, but I mean, they're very close, and Tidy Conclusion is amazing for our deck. On color, one of the best cards in the pack, so away we go with that. There's not really anything. The Crocodile is decent, although we don't really need it for our deck. We already have a nice curve going, including a top end if we end up in blue, so we will just happily take the Tidy Conclusion. There's also a Pillar Bug, I guess, which is looking better if we're ending up black-blue where the artifacts matter, but let's just take that. Okay, this pack is not exciting. There's one card in blue or black, basically. It's a good one, though, although not that amazing. There's some good other options here. All of these are great cards. Beaumont Courier, Fairgrounds, Trumpeter, and Weaver Angel. We could speculate on one of them. How good is Fairgrounds Trumpeter in our deck? It's actually pretty good. If we end up green-black counters. But we didn't really see any green cards. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking that, but Die Young, I think Die Young is just good enough. Now, there's Armorcraft Judge, too. And a Fairgrounds Warden. Wow. Two really good cards in not our colors. So we need to decide whether we just take like another Thriving Rats or one of these. I don't mind speculating on the Fairgrounds Warden because it's so good, I think. Like, a Thriving Rats isn't really doing anything, and I think I like taking the white card just in case we get Restoration Gearsmiths. Like the green black card, the green black uncommon, -2/-2 to all creatures is not that great, but it's possible we'll pick up like a late Restoration Gearsmith. Nice. Wow, I said the thing and then it happened. Just pre-recorded. Yeah, so Restoration Gearhulk is, or Gearsmith, not Gearhulk. I wish it were Gearhulk. Is just way better than everything else in this pack, and we're kind of in black-white now. Okay, we have a Pillar Bug. There's also Dinavolt Tower, which is surprisingly unexciting if you aren't heavily into energy, and we are not. Oh, there's impeccable timing as well, now that we actually have a non-black non-black cards to pick from. So yeah, impeccable timing, I guess. And sure, why not? There's also Diabolic Tutor, which doesn't really do anything for us. Ooh, another Fretwork Colony, also Subtle Strike. I think Fretwork Colony, it's not really necessary, so it's just a matter of how good is Fretwork Colony, which I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's good in my experience. Like on turn 2 it just runs away with the game, so we're gonna take it over Subtle Strike. Alright, a Cogworker's Puzzle Knot. It's really the only card for us. There's also Inspired Charge, I guess. I mean, which is good with the Puzzle Knot, but not really with the rest of our deck. So, yeah, we'll just take this. This is actually great to return with Restoration Gearsmith or the Black Sorcery Fortuitous Find if we end up with that. Alright, we already have a pressure point as well. Herald of the Fair. I think we want a Rush of Vitality with our Fretwork Colonies. Seems great if they try and kill it in combat. So yeah, we definitely want one Rush of Vitality at least. Alright, there's the hazardous conditions that we talked about. We are happy to not have that though. It's not that exciting. Although, obviously, in a dedicated green-black deck with counters, it's okay. But let's just go with another Pillar Bug. Appetite is late. There's also a Mastodon, which is probably the pick. I mean, we're not ending up green unless something crazy happens, and this is a pre-release draft, so there's even less hate draft consideration than usual, but I think this is just always the pick. Sure, Thriving Rats. Nothing. Alright. Alright, this deck's looking solid. We don't really need anything, honestly. We're already good to go here. We have basically everything we need. We're just looking for any sort of upgrades. Like Lost Legacy, there we go. Not what we're looking for. Alright, Renegade Freighter, sure. It's not really anything we're really interested in. A bit of card draw that would be fine in our deck. I mean, we don't really have any card draw, but Gonti and Restoration Gearsmith are gonna give us as much value as we need. I mean, we might want a Live Fast, but Renegade Freighter, We're kind of aggro-ish anyways, what with our fretwork colonies. And Rush of Vitality is also just great with the freighter. Trusting Companion, I like actually. Solid crew member, and good if we're attacking. There's another Rush and Thriving Rats as well. So what do we want here? I think it's between the Thriving Rats and the Trusty Companion. I mean, Rush of Vitality, we might actually want a second one. We're kind of okay on combat tricks, but we wouldn't mind a second Rush. Alright, let's go with the Hyena, I guess. Ooh, underhanded designs, fantastic. Also fortuitous find. Yeah, this is gonna be great in our deck. Automatically, it's amazing with Cogworker's Puzzle Knot. There's also a Rush of Vitality and a Fortuitous Find that we wouldn't mind having either of those. But yeah, underhanded designs is fantastic. Okay, Fortuitous Find and another Renegade Freighter. Jeez. How good is Renegade Freighter? How good is the third Renegade Freighter, I guess is the question. Yeah, okay, it's good. Alright. Beep beep, coming through. That's what trains say, right? Beep beep. Alright, there's that essence extraction that finally wheeled from pack 1 to pack 3. Took a while, but it got there. Alright, impeccable timing, ambitious Aetherborn. I don't even really want this impeccable timing that much. I mean, it's good taking out a freighter blocker, I guess. The ambitious Aetherborn, we don't really need more artifacts. It's like, okay, same card, so yeah, I mean, impeccable timing's a great card, so we'll take it. Sure. Rush Vitality, perfect. I think we are going to probably play both as well. Oh my god, Subtle Strike as well. Okay, we have infinite combat tricks now. So we're probably just going to become more and more of a aggro deck. Alright, Lost Legacy. I mean, there's a conceivable situation where you would board it in if you see your opponent has like 10 plus of the same card, I guess. Or if you just want a rare draft. Thriving Rats, I guess. Or the third Rush of Vitality. I mean, Rush of Vitality is amazing. How good is Inventor's Goggles here for us? Probably not that great. Yeah, I think we just want the Thriving Rats at this point. And do we need a Lawless Broker? Not really. So yeah, we'll take the value. And Mind Rot, and Puzzle Knot, and that. Okay, so can we run 16 lands with this deck? Probably, if we trim out our top end a little bit. And do this. And just start trimming a little bit. Die Young. Die Young seems worse than Subtle Strike and Rush of Vitality in this deck right now. You know, the Thriving Rats might be better than the Trusty Companion. No. being able to crew Renegade Freighter is actually relevant immediately. I mean, Rats can if it gets a counter, but alright, we still need cuts, so I think we want the puzzle knot for underhanded designs. Underhanded designs is not guaranteed. We could just cut it and the puzzle knot as our last two cuts, since we don't actually have that many fabricates upon further inspection, and we're kind of aggressive enough that we don't need it. We can just have less efficient removal since we're going to be smashing them with a train. Yeah, all this removal is very solid. These are just solid 2-drops, pretty solid 3-drops. I mean, Pillar Bug isn't anything to write home about, but the rest of the deck looks great. Is there anything, now that we don't need this fabricate, could also even swap this out for something? Fortuitous Find would be pretty good. I mean, it's great with Restoration Gear Hulk. Returning a train and a creature is pretty much the dream. Do we want it over just a 5/4 for 5? Yeah, let's go with the value. This is just a tight little package of goodness. Puzzle Knot would be good with this as well, but I think that's not playing to our game plan enough. Could also run this Impeccable Timing, but I want to keep the creature count relatively high, make sure our freighters are crewed. I mean, 13 creatures is not a lot, but Fortuitous Find can get us back some, and it's going to be hard to kill them when we have Rush of Vitality. Puzzle Knot looks a lot better with Fortuitous Find in the deck as well. But let's do it like this. Alright, just a little white splash. 6 planes does seem like enough. Alright, let's grow some Fretwork Colonies and see how the deck does. Alright, I'll be back shortly for game 1.